To crack on, we have a very full afternoon. We are going to kick off this afternoon by looking at financing and the sort of financing required for innovative startups and innovative brands that are dealing with sustainability at the heart of the operations and supply chain. So if I can ask my panel to join me on the stage, please, to André, Henning, William and Michael. The observant amongst you will note that I'm afraid it's an all-male panel. I can only reiterate what I said that last time, that I do know that conference organisers spend a lot of time trying very hard to get as much balance as possible on panels. Unfortunately, it's not always possible to do what we set out to do. So on that, having said that, that's unfortunate, but there we are. We have an all-male panel and we're going to be great. So I hope we're all looking forward to this presentation. So I know that we are up there, we're not here, but that's fine. Okay, this session's all about money, as I said, and money is key. And we have to frame our conversation for the next half an hour or so. We have, on my immediate left here, André Meyer from GLS Bank. We have Henning Siedentopp over here, we heard from before, from Melawear. We have Michael Oehler here, and we have William Allbright over here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask André to very briefly introduce the work of GLS and how his bank focuses on dealing with sustainability and sustainability-related projects and brands. And then I'll bring in the rest of the panel who will give a little bit of insight as to the role of finance in developing their brand and their business, and we shall take things from there. So we've got quite a short panel, actually. This one's 20 minutes. So I'll hand over to André straight away. André.
Yeah. Okay, hello from my side. I'm André from GLS Bank, and I'm working here in Berlin and responsible for the sustainable companies for GLS. GLS is a cooperative bank, and we have like 6 directions we work in, and one of them is sustainable companies. And we finance companies in our area from startups to developing companies until really big companies, and can provide them with all sort of credit loans, with all support from the government like KfW or Bürgschaftsbank. And we can combine our finances as well with a crowd. GLS has an own crowd investing platform where we can combine our loans with them, and yeah, we can do all sort of loans. What we focus on with our customers is that they are sustainable. You can take it, for instance, when we're looking at food companies, they have to be at least organic companies we finance, and on the textile side we would support the GOTS standards or GOT standard, and on the other side we obviously look into the companies, as you can see here as well, it's 2 of our customers, that they fulfill certain criteria in their sustainability, either the GOT standard, or we looking even deeper into the production process where we can see that all the materials they use are sustainable, or we can support them with that.
And so do you specifically then seek out, in your role, you're seeking out supply chains and businesses that are pushing the boat forward on their sustainability, really demonstrating sort of that sustainability is good for their business?
Yes, we only finance them. So that's really the question. So we seek out for them, and in a circle we are quite known as well as GLS that we only finance this. So we are known as well for open all our books. We publish every loan we hand out to our customers, so that we are visible in all areas what we do, and that we can be controlled by our customers as well. That they can say, okay, whom have you financed there? So, and that is our feedback we get from our customers and our control on the other side.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's opening to the session. So let me turn to the rest of the panel then, and same question for each of you. What have been the main financial challenges in building your brand, your brand that's based around sustainability? Why don't we start with William?
Well, yeah, hello, I'm Willy from MyMarini, an ethical swimwear brand, and well, I have to say we started out completely small. It was my girlfriend that quit her job and went to Colombia and noticed that there aren't any swimwear brands that are sustainable and are ethical, are grown up, and they still hold when surfing. So when she came back to Hamburg, she decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to found a swimwear brand which is sustainable. And she really started slow. So it was, the initial finance was from the GLS Bank. It was 8,000 euros only, and plus 3,000 euros from her father. So, and she wasn't really, it wasn't necessary that she really started out big, because she had some jobs on the side, and she could grow organically. After some time, like after 4 years now, we grew so big that we could start selling to shops, and before we only sold online. And that was when we actually needed some more credit from the GLS Bank to finance the production for the shops, which was much larger than the productions we had before. So that was when it really helped from the GLS Bank to get a dispo credit.
Fine. And how long has your relationship then been with GLS Bank?
Well, it started from the beginning. It's, the company is 5 years old now. So it was from the very beginning we were at the GLS Bank.
Okay, thank you. Well, we'll come back perhaps a little bit looking at the specific things that make a bank like GLS different from other banks, perhaps. Michael, turning to you, what has been the main financial challenge in building your business?
We are a small brand in Berlin, and we have our production outside in Brandenburg. And we started 25 years ago. And we never have had any loans in our experience. But we learned that it's very important to work together with your wholesaler, and at the end our wholesaler always made our financial aspect. And I just took the chance here to give or to tell other people that for me this is the most important issue, that you come out with a product that find the trust in some wholesalers, and you have a base.
Okay, fine. And Henning, turning to you, we heard from you earlier, you mentioned the significant amount of investment that you put into your brand. What was the role of financial institutions in developing the brand and developing your supply chains?
Hello, my name is Henning. I'm the owner and managing director of Melawear. We produce fair trade and organic certified textiles, garments, bags, sneakers. And when we started in 2014, we had in mind to make a sustainable fashion brand that becomes big. So we said to ourselves, you either go big or you go home, and we wanted to really go big. So we knew it's about money, obviously. So in the first year, we financed the company ourselves. So when we placed the first order of 10,000 t-shirts, we took it from our own pocket. So we had to have some money, and also from a scientific perspective, companies who found themselves having good financial background are much more successful than the ones without money. So it's a big issue, of course. After 1 year, we got requests of business angels and investors asking us, can we put money into your company because you're successful? And we knew from the beginning our money is not for sale. Our company is not for sale. So we started to reach out to friends and people we know who had money, but we soon realized we need much more. Because making a sneaker, as I presented earlier, it took us 2 years and 100,000 euros, which in that case actually we paid from our own pocket and from the revenues. But after 2 years we realized we have a big stock, we have a business model which offers the customer a never out of stock system. So due to fair trade, I pre-finance 6 months in advance the products. I get them into my warehouse 6 months later, and then I keep them in stock for 6 to 9 months. So I have to bridge 1.5 years capital that I'm binding at my company. So my customers don't have to do it, which is quite revolutionary, because normally industry works like this. You place your order here, you get your products next year, and most likely you have to pre-finance some stake of it, which is not the case at Melawear. So that is when we met GLS Bank, or they came and approached to us. I think it was because of a study by Greenpeace. He brought us together, and then we discussed several issues, and then they checked the balance sheets, and then it was clear, okay, we can work together, and that's how we got a boost and could start new products and bring more innovation into our company. So money is a very important thing, like the loans, but also our calculation we make internally of the margins for ourselves and for our wholesalers.
Okay, so two brands here that took advantage of what you were able to offer, but Michael, you have never used banking, or you've approached differently to the financing of your business. Perhaps you could explain a little bit around why that was and why you wanted to grow it that way rather than the kind of more traditional financing route.
I think one of the biggest reasons is that we make our production in Germany, and we have a very short time. More than 80% of our production is running out of the stock within 2 months. So we don't have 1.5 years. However, we have a very short time, and this is easy to compensate with by the wholesaler and also by the money you earn. So, and yeah, I think that's the reason at the end, if you are producing overseas or you make the production in Germany. So
you're able to finance out of cash flow much more easily than when you've got a longer lead time.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. What then are the, how can working with a bank like GLS, what have you found that its specialisms have helped you more than perhaps going to a regular bank? What's special about GLS? Or a bank like GLS? Other banks are available, right?
Yeah, I mean, GLS Bank has certain values and approaches towards sustainability, which are reflected in our business model. So when we approached GLS, they were not only, of course, they have to look at the balance sheet and at your revenues and margins, but they are looking about what are you aiming for? What is your goal? Are you in a market that is sustainable and still growing? Do you have a product, a unique selling proposition? Do you have something that is worth supporting because we believe that it will pay off in the long run, because the world needs this kind of sustainable innovation? And I think that is what differs from normal banks, where they would treat us only as, okay, you are a fashion brand, you buy t-shirts, shirts, sneakers and bags, but they don't ask what are they made of, who made them, what are the chemicals used. So, and what is very special about GLS, they have a magazine and they publish each and every loan they give to people and companies. So if you would like to, you could check all the companies who are with GLS, which are quite a lot from the sustainable area, and you can see how much money they get and which time and what they do with this. What I think is quite nice as being part of that bank, because then you also know where does your money goes through, because of course we have some money on the bank account and I want to know what has been done with it and I can check it, which you normally can't do with the big banks. Yeah.
Okay, William, same to you.
Yeah, well, I was surprised when we got an invitation by the GLS Bank to really get to know the people behind the company. They wanted to not only talk about money, but they really wanted to get to know us and our ambitions and why we are doing this. And I didn't expect this from a bank, and this was really sympathetic, and we're glad to be at the GLS Bank, actually.
Okay, let's turn it around a little bit, and a question to you, André. When do you think that the mainstream banks are going to catch up? I mean, it's great that you guys are far-seeing enough to see the benefit of the sort of businesses that these guys have set up. You see that the business benefits, you realise and accept that they are proper businesses, that there's viable business models there. When is the mainstream going to catch up? Or what do you have to do to keep ahead?
Well, that's a good question. It's a good question for the future as well for us. So we're working on it every day and try to go ahead and look in the future. But as you can see at the moment, you've got the various banks which are already going on public with their sustainability. But I think they still have to work quite a lot on it. And I mean, they're still financing weapons and child labor and things like this. And we are off this, so we're not financing things like this. And we've got a big community behind us. As I said, we are a cooperative bank, and this is probably what Henning said as well, that our community has the same ideas as we as the bank. So our community is a bank has, and that's why they support it. And even to show the loans. We've got we present our customers on each of the magazines and have articles about them, what they produce, what they make, what they change in the world as well. So this is one of the things we do, and I think you have to be honest with yourself, and we can be honest with everything what we offer. And I think there's still a bit missing on the big banks until they go ahead. But as you said, it's we have to look forward and see the development, find the hidden champions, or however you want to call them, in sustainability.
Yeah. Okay, do we have any questions from the audience? I was hoping that you'd be ready to ask lots of questions this afternoon after lunch. Was that a question? Madam, in this fourth row? No, it wasn't a question from you. A question at the front, sir, yes. And hang on, I've got to throw the... Okay, thank you. Oh, I've got a catch box.
Thank you. It's a question for GLS. What's your single obligor limit as a bank in terms of your startup financing?
Thank you, great question.
Some more? Should we collect first? Or
No, are there more questions? Well, we're actually running out of time.
We haven't got for a startup. Obviously, we have to look into the actual case. So there's no limit because where we say it's only 50,000 euros. The case has to be okay. The people behind it, as we said, they have to be okay. They have to show us their values. They have to be 100% behind it, and then we will find a way to finance them. As I said, we've got the crowd behind us as well to finance this area. So we've got people in our community which big amounts which would support good ideas as well. So we've got various ideas to do it. So I think for a startup, as a normal bank loan, everything what's below 1 million will be a push. To give you a rough figure, yeah. So, or above 1 million. Sorry.
Okay. All right. As I said, a short session. I'd just like to tie it up by asking our three non-GLS panelists, how, when you're dealing with someone like a bank, you talked about this before, Henning, about you have to be holistic in everything you do. Is a supplier, like a financial institution, part of that holistic approach? You wouldn't want to have chemicals that are bad in your supply chain. Would you want to be involved ever, say, with a bank that would also be funding weapons, say? Is that part of an approach you've taken?
Yes, of course. I mean, holistic means everything what you do, and you don't want to have any back bank in your deposit somewhere. So, same as we do with the production, we have a sustainable and fair packaging company. It's mentally disabled people that have to be re-brought into the normal work and into the market of labor market, so to say, and we support them. That is one aspect of social projects we do in Germany, and of course, financing our products should be financed with money that is made or available because of funding other sustainable companies that are already being successful, or people that made it big and have spare money to give to other sustainable brands. So yes, of course, I mean, sustainability is social, ecological, and economic. And economic is about money, and so where the money comes from and how is it made, it's definitely very important.
William, how much do you recognise that approach?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we try to make everything as sustainable as possible, and it wouldn't make any sense if the bank wouldn't be sustainable. So yes, definitely yes. We wouldn't go work with a bank that isn't sustainable.
Sure. And no, understood. And Michael, for you, I mean, presumably you do have a bank as a supplier somewhere. You may not be using funding mechanisms, but these are again all things you need to be.
And I know GLS from the very beginning, and they have. I think we are more or less same age. But in the beginning, it was for us. We started our business in Asia, where we sold, and it seemed for me in the beginning that it's much easier with a traditional bank, and that was the reason we worked together with them. And basically, we are working with a Sparkasse, which is the more or less states bank, and so it was for me the only option we have had.
Great. I'm afraid we're out of time. It's been a short and sweet panel to start our afternoon, so please join me in thanking André, Henning, William and Michael. Thank you very much indeed.